Hey everyone, welcome back to Facts Discoveries. Today, we're diving deep into the ocean to settle a debate you might not even know existed. Have you ever been at a seafood restaurant, looked at the menu and thought, crabs, lobsters, they're basically the same thing, right? Just different shapes. I mean, they both have claws, they both have that tough armor, and they both taste amazing with a little melted butter. But what if I told you that thinking they just distant cousins is like saying a cat and a dog are practically identical? The truth is, their differences go way deeper than just their shells, and the story of how they became so distinct is a wild ride through millions of years of evolution. So, grab your snorkel, because today, we're re-exploring why crabs and lobsters are way more different than you've ever imagined. This is going to be good. Let's get the family drama sorted out first. At first glance, it's easy to lump crabs and lobsters together. They're both crustaceans, rocking that exoskeleton look. But in the grand family tree of life, they're not as close as you'd think. Think of it this way. You and your second cousin might share a great-grandparent, but you live totally different lives. That's crabs and lobsters. Crabs belong to a massive group called Brachyura, which literally means short-tailed. And if you've ever looked at a crab, you'll notice their abdomen is tiny and tucked right under their body. It's almost like they're hiding it. Lobsters, on the other hand, are part of a family called Nephropodae. These guys are all about that long, muscular tail. That's the part everyone loves to eat, right? Their evolutionary paths split so long ago, we're talking hundreds of millions of years, that they ended up becoming fundamentally different creatures. So while they might show up at the same ocean parties, they arrive in completely different cars. One of the most obvious and kind of funny differences is how they get around. You've all seen the classic crab walk, that sideways scuttle that has become a meme. Have you ever wondered why they do that? It's not just for show. A crab's legs are attached to the sides of its wide, flat body, and their joints are hinged to bend side to side, much more effectively than forward and backward. It's a super efficient way to move quickly when your body is built like a dinner plate. They can dart into crevices and surprise their prey with that signature sideways shuffle. Lobsters, they're the complete opposite. They're built long and lean, and their legs are positioned underneath their body, designed for a more straightforward, forward and backward march along the ocean floor. It's a more deliberate, purposeful stride. And when a lobster needs to make a quick getaway, it uses that powerful tail. It contracts it super fast, shooting itself backward through the water in a move called charadoid escape, or tail flipping. So, a crab is a side-shuffling ninja, while a lobster is more like a tank that can suddenly rocket in reverse. Two totally different strategies for moving and grooving. Now, let's talk about lifestyle and lifespan, because this is where things get really fascinating. When it comes to living a long life, lobsters are the undisputed champions of the crustacean world. These guys are the ocean's senior citizens. It's not uncommon for lobsters to live for 50 years, and some have been estimated to be over 100 years old. They just keep on keeping on. They have this incredible ability to repair their own DNA, which slows down the aging process dramatically. Most crabs, however, are living life in the fast lane. The average crab only lives for about 3 to 5 years. Some smaller species might only live for a year. They have a much more live fast, die young approach. They grow up quickly, reproduce, and their time is up. So while a lobster might have seen generations of fish swim by, a crab's entire existence is just a brief, bustling chapter in the ocean's story. It's a stark contrast in life philosophy, baked right into their biology. And part of the reason for this huge difference in lifespan comes down to how they grow. Both crabs and lobsters have to molt to get bigger. Their hard exoskeleton is like a suit of armor that doesn't stretch. So to grow, they have to shed the old one and puff themselves up before the new one hardens. It's a super vulnerable time for them. But here's the kicker. Crabs have what's called determinate growth. This means that after they reach a certain age and size, they undergo a final molt, called the terminal molt. After that, they're done growing forever. They can still live for a while, but they're stuck at that size. Their shell gets old, covered in barnacles, and eventually, their time is up. Lobsters are the opposite. They have indeterminate growth. As long as they have enough food and the conditions are right, they can theoretically keep molting and growing indefinitely. This is why you sometimes hear stories about fishermen catching absolute monster lobsters the size of a small dog. That's an animal that has been successfully molting and growing for decades, a true old-timer of the deep. It's this endless potential for growth that makes lobsters so biologically unique. Okay, let's talk about their tools, their claws. Both have them, but they use them in very different ways, and they're not built the same. A lobster typically has two different sized claws. One is the crusher claw that's big, bulky, and super powerful, designed for smashing open the shells of clams, mussels, and other hard-bodied prey. It's like a sledgehammer. The other claw is the pincher, or Caesar claw. It's smaller, sharper, and quicker, used for tearing flesh and manipulating food. It's the lobster's fork and knife. Now, crabs also have claws, and while some species have a similar crusher-pincher setup, their claw design is often more specialized for their diet and lifestyle. For example, some crabs have claws that are perfectly shaped for scooping mud, while others have claws designed for delicate social signaling. Think of fiddler crabs, where the male has one ridiculously oversized claw that he waves around to attract mates and intimidate rivals. It's not just a tool for eating. It's a billboard that says, "Hey ladies, look at me," or "Back off, buddy." Their claws are multi-purpose tools for fighting, flirting, and feeding, all rolled into one. Even their body plans tell different stories about their evolution. The lobster's body is a classic example of a decapod, meaning 10-footed. It has a distinct head and thorax area, called the cephalothorax, and that long, segmented abdomen, the tail. It's a blueprint that has been very successful for a long time. Crabs, however, represent a major evolutionary innovation. Scientists believe that crabs evolved from lobster-like ancestors. Over millions of years, a process called carcinization occurred, which is a fancy way of saying that nature kept turning lobster-like things into crab-like things. Evolution just loves the crab body plan. This process involved the body getting shorter and wider, and most importantly, that long tail getting tucked away underneath the body. Why a compact, flat body is great for hiding in tight spaces and allows for that quick, sideways movement. By getting rid of the long, exposed tail, crabs became much more defensive and agile. So, in a way, a crab is an evolutionary upgrade of the lobster body plan, streamlined for a different kind of life. Let's also consider where they hang out and how they behave. While both can be found in oceans all over the world, from shallow waters to the deep sea, their social lives are quite different. Lobsters are often thought of as solitary creatures, hiding out in their burrows during the day and coming out to forage at night. But they do have a social side. They can recognize other individual lobsters and even establish hierarchies. They communicate using chemical signals, releasing pheromones into the water to send messages. It's a subtle, chemical-based social network. Crabs, on the other hand, can be incredibly social. Many species live in large groups and have complex social interactions. We already mentioned the fiddler crabs and their waving displays, but other crabs, like the ghost crab, perform elaborate rituals to defend their territory. They'll size each other up, push and shove, and use their claws in a kind of ritualized combat. It's less about brute force and more about display and posture. They have a whole language of gestures and movements that we're only just beginning to understand. So let's recap. We've got crabs with their sideways scuttle and short, action-packed lives. They reach a certain size, and then they're done, living in a body that's an evolutionary marvel of compactness. Then we have lobsters, the long-living, forward-marching tanks of the ocean floor, who can just keep growing and growing as long as they can keep molting. Their body plan is more ancestral, a classic design that has stood the test of time. Their claws are specialized tools, their social lives are different, and their entire life histories are on opposite ends of the spectrum. It really is incredible how two animals that look so superficially similar can be so profoundly different in almost every aspect of their existence. The next time you see them on a menu or in an aquarium, you'll know they're not just variations on a theme. They are two distinct masterpieces of evolution, each perfectly adapted for its own unique way of life. It just goes to show you that there's always more to discover, even with creatures we think we know so well. Thanks for hanging out with us today on Facts Discoveries. It's pretty wild, right? If you learned something new and have a newfound respect for these amazing crustaceans, do me a favor and hit that like button. And do you forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you do UNT miss our next deep dive into the mysteries of the world around us. Got any other lookalike animals you want us to investigate? Drop your suggestions in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious.